Benjamin. Welcome back to Road Atlanta. I'm Rick Benjamin. Joe Foster is alongside. Coverage of the Panoz GT Pro Series here on Speed Vision. Great battling all over the racetrack, especially among the GT cars. You've got 5 cars battling basically for second in this category behind leader Barry Davison. And, Joe, they haven't given up. Everybody thinks they've got a shot at this.
No, it's still definitely going at it, hammer and tongs here. Everybody's pretty much wearing out the curb paint and even a little bit of dirt. Gavin has gone from the front to the back and to the front and to the back again here, and he's got David Donner all over him just like a cheap suit. You can see they're all in the same draft going down the straight.
Gavin Rich is in the car with the pink roof. David Donner has the blue roofed machine behind him as they fight for 5th in this category. Rich is driving the 18 car, Donner in the 10. There's Gary Curtis in the 59. That's the yellow GTS machine that he owns. These cars, the GT cars, the drivers don't know which car they'll be in. What, until they arrive for the weekend? Right,
Rick. They show up and they draw them out of a hat right in front of everybody, and so they are in different cars each weekend. It actually, even though they are the same car and a spec car, it's always good to drive something a little different and learn how to adapt to different things. We've seen a lot of advances in these drivers over the course of the whole year, learning racecraft, et cetera, et cetera. So you'll definitely notice this race as compared to the last couple of races. We've got a much better, more exciting race going on. We've got Mike Griffiths moving toward the front there. He comes from the stadium off-road truck rank, so there's a wide array of backgrounds.
Griffiths making his first appearance really among the quick group of cars. He's got the car with the turquoise colored roof there, car number 16, and he's sitting 4th now in GT. He got by the David Donner Gavin Rich's battle. We'll check back in on that one. Donner gets the advantage moving around Gavin as they head through the S's. Yeah, that was pretty exciting there by Gavin. He tried the inside over in the air Dukes of Hazzard line, we call it there, in turn 3. And it actually cost him a little bit. And meanwhile, you got Eddie kind of holding the station at the front of this pack. If he's smart now, to be honest, he's not looking in his mirror. He's just focusing on not making mistakes, because that's really what's causing all the position changes behind him. Eddie Motti in the 14 car out of Boca Raton, Florida, leading this group. He is 2nd in GT. Audrey Zawadzki next in line. She is 3rd. And up in front, the 84. The car of Johan Forey continues to lead. He's got a lead of 14, 15 seconds now, starting to lap some of the slower GT machines. Right. He's going to have some traffic here. He's going to have to work it carefully and be considerate of them. It's good training for the future in ALMS, and we'll see how he handles it. Forey trying to make a move, goes way over the berm on the grass and taps that car, turns it around. As we say, a little optimistic, I think, on Johan's part in terms of trying to pass poor David there. David was doing his best to let him out of the way and open the door. A little too much, I think. David College from Roswell, Georgia, nearby. He stalled that race car on the track, so he may get a local caution here. We'll see. College gets it refired. Let's take another look here. College had a wheel off, and now Forey runs out of racetrack on the inside. I don't think College knew he was there. Yeah, I'm not sure either, and I will say that's a pretty rare place to even lap traffic unless you have a huge class difference like a prototype in a GT car in the ALMS series. So Forey gets by with maybe a little bit of damage. These cars are very tough, very well constructed, but it looks as though there might be a little bodywork damage on the 84. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Believe it or not, these GTS cars have a plastic body, not a fiberglass body, and so they're pretty resistant to stuff like that. Still battling back for position among the GT cars. The 16 of Mike Griffiths there, trying to hold off David Donner and close in on Audrey Zawadzki. Now Zawadzki turning in a good run today. Gary Curtis holding off this entire group. This is definitely a great battle between all the GT cars, and Gary Curtis is kind of leading the pack. I think actually he may be performing a purpose here in terms of pace. I think he might kind of be holding them up just a little bit. He must maybe be having some difficulty with his car or something, but it's definitely making this race behind him very tight. Gavin Riches now has dropped to the back of this group of 5, 2nd through 6th in GT, and Gavin, who won the category at Sebring to open up the season, unable to get up and contend for victory here today. Meantime, your leader continues to be Johan Forey from South Africa with a huge lead in car number 84. He has led all the way since the drop of the initial green today. Hasn't really put a wheel wrong. Actually, he's done a fantastic job. He's obviously well adapted to cars of this type from driving the Trans Am type car in South Africa with the slick tires. So he's obviously showing the way. Did have that moment just a short time ago when he was doing battle trying to lap by Dave College and got to the inside of College going into a left-hand corner back in the S's, and I don't think College saw him, realized he was there, and before he realized he had to go up into the grass to be safe there, he was able to get back on the racetrack without a problem. Quick lap of the day in the 135s. That's not far off the pole speed. Actually, he's still pushing hard near the end of the race here. Obviously, he's got a good rhythm going. We'll just see if he burns the tires off the thing or not. I have found, though, that these Michelins definitely hold up well. You have to manage them different than a street tire. I've driven a couple of times at Road Atlanta, Joe. I would think this is a pretty intimidating place for a lot of these drivers with very limited experience. It definitely is. There's a lot of blind corners here,
And, well, we're noticing a little bit of a furrow black there, probably for his incident with Dave College. But obviously, Johan continues forward. A lot of blind corners here. It is pretty intimidating. Once you get used to it, though, it's not so bad.
So Fourie in the 84 is out in front, as he has been from the start. There's that NYPD logo we noticed on the back end of the bodywork of the 84, in memory of the firefighters and police officers, particularly in New York, who lost their lives and have given so much of themselves in the aftermath of the September 11th terrorist attacks on our country. Eddie Motti, meantime, continues to lead this group of cars in the GT category. Motti runs second behind Barry Davison, who's been out front all the way. We'll grab a quick timeout. Be back with more here at Road Atlanta. Working toward the conclusion of the Panoz GT Pro Series third round of the 2001 season. Ibrecht Benjamin, Joe Foster alongside. And just a moment ago, overall leader Johan Fourie went off all by himself. Gets the car back on the racetrack, but that could have cost him that 14-second lead he built up.
Well, I don't think it'll hurt his lead too much. He's obviously still pressing hard near the end of the race and starting to discover and learn some things about tire management.
Meantime, we've got this battle for second in GT, and there's David Donner, sixth in the category right now in this line of 5 cars, all tracking behind Gary Curtis as they come up the straightaway.
This is still a heck of a race going on here. I think that these drivers are definitely learning a lot. Wearing these cars out, we'll have a lot of work to do on it before the next race. Since the last race at Mosport, we had as usual, we have a maintenance program and also an equalization testing program we do. In this case, we also did some suspension changes to take into account the new tire.
Still battling hard for position. Mike Griffiths in the hunt. Battling behind Audrey Zawadzki there.
Audrey's definitely starting to push hard near the end of the race. This is kind of her MO, so to speak. She sort of stays cagey for the last third and then pushes very hard the last few laps. So we're going to find some sort of fireworks happening from Audrey, I bet.
David Donner has gained 3 spots since the drop of the green back earlier this afternoon. Zawadzki trying to get around the car of Eddie Motti. There's the pink roofed machine. But Gavin Riches.
I would say a little bit more of the Dukes of Hazzard line there again by David in turn 3. As the race nears its end and the desperation level goes up, they tend to straight line that sort of corner. But you're definitely going to find Gavin go open back. Boy, he's had a heck of a race going up all the way to second and back to his current position. Again, there's basically been just taking advantage of each other's mistakes. And you've got Eddie in the front there just trying not to make any.
Gavin Riches, meantime, gains a spot, moves up to third in this group of 5 GT cars, 4th overall. Barry Davison has turned in another great run today in his GT car. He is 3rd overall. He was the overall winner at Mosport in the rain back earlier this season. Remember, these cars give up 80 horsepower to the GTS cars, although they're on similar tires today.
Right, definitely. That's why we have some close racing between the GTS and the GT class, and why Gary Curtis has not quite been able to get away from the pack behind him.
Got a glimpse of Scott Loffield's 41 car there. He is in front of Gary Curtis. Closing laps straight ahead at Road Atlanta, the Panoz GT Pro Series on Speed Vision. We'll be right back. Closing in on the checkered flag here at Road Atlanta, the Panoz GT Pro Series season finale. Good battling here in GT. Audrey Zawadzki and Gavin Riches going at it, and Audrey's going to come away with the advantage here.
Actually, Gavin was a valiant effort by Gavin there to make the pass on Audrey. Audrey obviously raced him hard but clean and kept the position. Eddie
Motti leading this group of 3, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in GT as the white flag is in the air. Gary Curtis down into turn 1 in that yellow machine, and there you see your leader, Johan Fourie in the 84, just about to lap Curtis. So Fourie is really continuing to run very quickly here.
Obviously, we've seen Eddie really put his head down, not making mistakes, and be able to pull out a couple of seconds on the gaggle of cars behind him. Those cars raced each other hard. That's why they've fallen back a bit.
GT cars first through the S's. There's Curtis. Fourie, the race leader, right behind him. He'll lap Curtis, who's running in 6th position here momentarily.
Obviously a great run for Johan. He's a fantastic driver, again, from South Africa. And he's so far kept his nose clean. He's being a lot more conservative, though, as he comes around traffic as compared to before.
Fourie got into a problem with David College earlier, went off the course briefly, got the car back on. And he is nice and clean and alone at the moment as he hits the backstretch for the final time.
Right, he had a little bit of a brake log up there in the turn 7. This time of day, the sun's real low, and actually turn 7 is pretty much a blind corner at this point for him.
So it could affect where you turn into the corner and all manner of things there. Here comes Fourie, lapping by one of the GT cars. There you got a glimpse of the 41, Scott Loffield in GTS. He's had a good run today. Loffield sitting 5th. But Fourie may be able to lap him before we get the checkered flag.
Obviously, Johan trying to keep it clean here for its first win in his first race in this series. And we'll see how he does coming down the hill. He's obviously, in spite of his pace, was able to keep the Michelins under him.
And he has adapted very well to one of the most challenging road circuits in North America. Final corner, heading to the front straightaway. Checkered flag in the air for Johan Fourie, your winner here today at Road Atlanta in the Panoz GT Pro Series. There you see Curtis. Now we've got the rest of the field and the GT cars particularly battling to the checkers here momentarily. Now that event has been in the hands of Barry Davison. Here's Davison now in the yellow car, the 25. Trying to lap by Brad Nyberg in the 7. Nyberg nowhere near the lead as they come down the backstretch. And there's the GTS car, David Barr's machine, the 34. He's been off course a couple of times today.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen a whole lot of Barry because he's done such a good job. He's been very, very smooth, and he obviously also doesn't want to blow this last corner and his race win and his championship, which is at stake here. So we'll see how he does.
So Fourie is your winner. Rod Stroop finishes in second spot. Under the bridge, here comes Davison. He was able to get by Nyberg. Final corner, heading to the checkered flag in that yellow roof, number 25. Second win of the year for Barry Davison. He was the overall winner at Mosport back earlier this season. And there you see Gary Curtis finishing sixth and claiming the GTS championship.
Must have been some fireworks there on the last lap, I'm sure, in the battle for second place. And it does look like Gavin got shuffled to the back a bit there, so tough luck for him.
And Imani does claim second among the GT cars ahead of Audrey Zawadzki. We congratulate Johan Fourie, our overall winner. Barry Davison, the GT winner. For Joe Foster, I'm Rick Benjamin. Thanks for watching the Panoz GT Pro Series.